Hey, Devil Duckies. I know like some of y'all have been asking me about like what exactly tooling is. It's basically just like the concept of like instead of marking holes with a gusset or using scribes, what you do is you like 3D print a part for it, right? Like here I made this, right? So this would be an example of tooling. You would get this part and you would just, press it onto your workpiece that you're working on. And then you would use the through hole, the through punches, and you would use your center punch, then your center drill, and then your step bit, and then your final drill bit. I know y'all know how to do that, but what I wanted to show y'all is how do you actually model tooling. So I'm going to be giving an example with this piece of extrusion right here. So the first thing you want to do, especially like if you have something like this where like it's on both sides, is you want to see if there's any like commonalities or any symmetry. So I noticed that like all of them they seem to be one, like inch away, which is nice. So that means that I can just, mirror the part. Now, what I like to start off with is I just create a sketch on like the top, then I use the offset tool and I like to give it 0.05 clearance. That's just what's worked well for me on my printer. Give or take, you might want to do more or less depending on how tight of a squeeze you want. But generally, you want to give a bit more because if you do like less, right, what could end up happening is like this part of the 3D print ends up breaking. For the pass, I like to make it about a 1/4 inch. And the reason for that is our through hole punches, if you make them like 1/8 of an inch, they won't really sink in. You want to make them like a 1/4 of an inch. So then I'm just gonna, connect these now. And I'm gonna, constrain them to the bottom surface down here. Right, now that we got that, we're just gonna extrude along here. Um, and then I like to add like a 1/4 inch on the end, right? And then what you can do from there is you can sketch right here, and you can use the project tool to get this line right here, then you can connect it. Um, yep. And then you can just pull this up. Make sure you're adding to your, tooling. Now you want to make the holes. So you'll notice in this piece that the holes are like on the sides on where I've tooled them. But the thing is because since this part's symmetric, you can actually just model them on the top. And actually that's how you always want to model your holes. You want to put them on the top. If your geometry was different, like let's say these holes were offset, you would have to basically create two separate pieces of tooling because your hole should always be on the top side of this like little U. You don't want them on the sides because then you can't really clamp it down, and that's how you get inaccuracies. So to do that, we're just going to go back to our sketch right here that we made on this surface, and we're just going to use the, project tool again. Now, we don't have these other surfaces, but since we know that they're a 1 inch offset, we can just model that in real quick. Be like, 1, 3, and we have 1 inch, And now we can just go over here to our extrusion, and we can be like, okay, now I want to make a new extrusion, where now I'm just gonna, remove all of this material. So I'm just gonna say, okay, I want to remove this part, and there you go, right? You can add chamfers. Honestly, I wouldn't because when you 3D print this, it's gonna help you if you have this be a flat surface, for bed adhesion. But yeah, point 0.05 or even like literally like 0.02 works, like even change this to like 0.025. Because what it is it's like typically if you have like shafts or like stuff that needs to go into a hole, let's say like you had a half-inch hex shaft, right? You wouldn't do point 0.5 in the CAD, you would do 0.55. So by that logic, you would want like 0.025 on the sides, and that should work pretty well, you know. But yeah, now you would just 3D print this, and that's how you 3D model tooling.